So good morning, welcome along to Eclipse Motorcycles. Today we're out riding this. This is the Royal Alloy GP125, slight difference from the GT125. So just kind of a quick walk around on the bike. Now this one is in the pale cream, or they call it the ivory, but it's like a magnolia pale cream on this one. Nice little rear rack to the back on this. You've got a storage compartment just under the front. There is a USB under there as well, and also the button to change your speedo from kms to miles per hour. Now the difference being on these, the rear pegs on these pop out, so it's push of the button, pop the rear pegs out on this like so, and then they just pop back in, so it makes it a little bit easier if you've got two up on this, pillion passenger. And also the difference being on the GT, they have a straight seat. On the GP, has this lift up seat, and you've also got these nice rubber sticky bungs that just give you an extra bit of cushioning just under that passenger seat, and a nice little chrome silencer. Now you can add a Scorpion or a Tasso can to these just to give it a little bit more oomph, and you've got the single shock each side to the front of these, so it's got nice sprung suspension to the front of these, side stand and a main stand, LED indicators on this one, and a bulbed front light. The display on this, across the top you've got your rev counter, fuel gauge to the side, charging volts to just to the right hand side there, and then your miles or your kilometers, and then just at the bottom your display for your indicators, check engine light, and your main beam on this. Mirrors on this are set very, very low, and I'd say you get about 50% view behind, but as I say, always do your shoulder checks. You can set them right out to the side, but these mirrors are very, very low slung compared to other scooters of the 125 version. So we're going to get this out into traffic, have a little bit of a run. Now the footboards on this, you've got those rubber strips, but they are nicely finished off with a little aluminium finish, little aluminium cap to each end, so it does just set the bike off compared to the GT, which has just got the rubber strips in it. And obviously the bars on this are very, very short. They're not as wide as what you would get on a normal scooter, but I do like getting out on these GPs. A little bit more refinement and just such a better scooter, but obviously you're paying a lot more money. These retail, the GPs retail about $3,200, that includes your on the road fees. So the GP a little bit more expensive, about £200 more than what the GT is, but for the money you're getting those engine covers at the back in metal, not plastic. And once again, it has dual braking on it, so your front brake, there's your front brake only, your rear brake gives you a mix of about 2/3 to 1/3 rear brake to front brake on that dual braking. So we always say right lever, dry weather, left lever for the wet weather. Oh, someone else has broken down. So we're just going to take this up into traffic. Now these do come pre-run in, so you can take them straight up, but obviously for the sake of ride test mileage I do what I normally do, sit them at 40 to 45. But once obviously an owner's had one of these, and they have reported they can get around about 60 to 65 out of these, if not a little bit more. These Royal Alloys absolutely fly, and if they've got a Scorpion or a Tasso can on them, it does give you a little bit more power, not much. So it's about 0.4 of a horsepower extra once you've got an aftermarket can on these. So this one's sitting around about 48, taking it nice and easy. I'm going to sit around about 40, 45, 48 and then back her off a bit. But these are ready to go out of the box, and this Royal Alloy engine, absolutely perfect. We've never ever had an issue with the Royal Alloy engine. The only thing that you do get, and I tend to be obviously point out the negatives as well as the positives on these, and obviously the supplier MotoGP have sorted the issue out. There used to be a huge issue with the speedos and the speedo senders. I'm not going to obviously tell porkies about that, but a lot of the Royal Alloys, any dealers, they have had issues with the speedos and the speedo senders, but issues have been sorted out, and normally they run pretty good now. And that was the only issue we found. The only other thing that we found on these, obviously with all those suspension exposed at the front, you have got to keep them clean, because they are the first thing that are going to pick up all the dirt. So make sure you do keep that suspension lubricated, all your bearings greased up at the front end on these. That was another thing that the Royal Alloy owners did find. But otherwise she runs absolutely lovely. You do seat yourself very, very high on this. The seat is slightly higher, a lot higher in the leg than it is for other scooters like the Milano or the Titan, so it's a very, very high seat height on this. But it just gives you such a better, clearer view of the road, and I feel it is a very more comfortable riding position, being a little bit more upright. Makes you feel like you're on a bigger bike. But very, very easy just to look down. Nice big speedo there, tells you what you're doing. And as I say, I like it plain and simple on a dash. Don't over clutter it with buttons, levers if it's not needed. Keep it plain, keep it simple, makes it easy for the rider to get accustomed to the controls. Obviously the mirrors on this, I'm getting used to these low slung mirrors now. And obviously a lot of the Royal Alloy owners tend to ditch those mirrors as soon as they buy them and put bar end mirrors on. And the bar end mirrors do look very good on these. Just sets off the style of the scooter. And there are a lot of aftermarket extras for these, so you can go for different colour seat or custom seat on these. You've got the option of the Tasso or the Scorpion can on these, stainless steel can. You've also got the option of an aftermarket front rack that just clips over. So if you did want to have a rack on the front, you can go for that. And they also do a floor mat for these, so if you don't want to be scratching your paintwork with your feet, they do an aftermarket Royal Alloy rubber mat that just completely fits in across the whole bottom of that and just protects your feet from the paintwork. But it is very, very comfortable and very, very good to ride. And it gets off the mark a lot quicker than most 125 scooters as well. Now this is the air-cooled version. They also do a liquid-cooled version, a little bit more money again. So they do a 125, but they also do a 300. Now that is called the TG. Liquid-cooled machine, and the TG is to die for. It is a absolutely wonderful piece of equipment. Once again, that new smell of just exhaust paint burning off. As I say, I do love the smell of a new bike. Absolutely lovely. It's coming in on that braking. You can just see how firm and hard that suspension is as well on the front of these. Crisp, hard ride on these. And that nice big headlight just protruding out the front on this. Very easy to see your brake cylinders as well. So check your brake fluid levels on your master cylinders. So visually, very, very good. Lovely setup on these Royal Alloys. I mean, don't half get off the mark quick. So we're out doing the ride test mileage on this. The customer's due to come and pick this up in about 5 days' time. It's had all its PDIs checks. We've checked it over. Absolutely perfect out the box, as you would expect from any Royal Alloy. Absolutely lovely. And it hello speed camera, he's back in his normal position up there, catching all the speeders. And obviously the Royal Alloy has a cult following, as do other scooters. Now some people prefer these, some people do like the Scamadis. And obviously it's individual preference on these, but if you happen to be into 60s and you like your retro scooters, the Royal Alloy has a huge following, and they are really, really nice. Obviously if you've got the money to spend, get yourself a Royal Alloy. Makes you want to sort of don your parka your open face helmet, your pair of goggles and a face mask. But once you're out on the road with these, they are an eye magnet. People wish they go past, you probably see them in, if you watch some of the cars, people are like, oh, what's that, what is that? It's a Royal Alloy. And we do sell a lot of these. So just crack up a little bit more mileage. I'm going to head back to the garage. So it's just a quick ride test for the customer to show him his bike being run in. And we are 6 miles in, and this thing is just eating up the mileage. Absolutely lovely. Doesn't take long to run one of these in. Obviously the servicing regime is slightly different from the Royal Alloy compared to other brands of scooter. It's a lot longer between servicing on these, but as with any 125, very, very easy to service. One side panel off, get in there, change your oil, and very, very easy to just get to all the spark plug, all your tappets for adjustment. So all can be done just by removing that right hand side panel, as you would with any scooter. And then once again, if you do have issues with tyres very, very easy to change. Pop the exhaust off, panel off, rear wheel out, job done. So servicing and maintenance on these is very, very easy, but for the money, that's what you would expect. But absolutely beautiful to ride. And 2 up, it does take it. Obviously, 2 up normally on the 125, they struggle. This thing just keeps going and going and going. So the Royal Alloy brand has got quite a good engine on it. I need to switch lanes in a second. Quick indicate and shoulder check and move lanes. We're going to do one more quick run down the A5, get a bit of dual carriageway, then we're going to go back into town, because my normal route across there is all blocked off for the sake that they are putting in a new housing estate, destroying more of the countryside. But just pushing it around the roundabout, you can just see how well it just holds its line. Absolutely lovely. Now economy on these is pretty good as well. You get a fair old knock to the gallon out of these 125s, normally around about 80 to 100. Other people have reported they've got a little bit more, some people have reported they've got a little bit less, so roughly around about 80 miles to the gallon on one of these. And the tank is quite big as well. Obviously check the spec on it, because it varies from scooter to scooter. I didn't check the spec on this morning, because obviously this is just a ride test. But it has got a bigger tank compared to some of the other 125 scooters. So you can go a little bit longer. And for comfort, can't fault it. Absolutely lovely. And obviously the last time I did a video on this, I gave it 60 out of 50 because I absolutely loved it. But we'll go through our reach scores on this. Rideability, 10 out of 10. Does what it says. It's a Royal Alloy after all. Now obviously you've got your haters and you've got your likers, but I can't fault it. It is beautiful. Economy's pretty darn good. You know, it's a 125 at the end of the day. It's going to get a good old bit of mileage compared to other bikes. Affordability, yes, it's a lot more money. You're looking at around about 3 grand, just over the 3 for the GT, 3.2 for the GP, if I remember rightly. So affordability, it's not obviously most people's budget, but if you've got the money, I would say buy one of these. Comfort, can't fault it. This seat is just so comfortable, as I could put it. And obviously with those little rubber suckers, you do get that extra little bit of suspension under the seat, so Comfort, you can't beat it. Handling, it handles like a dream. Once you get used to these little short bars on it, it does the job. So as I say, I give it a full 50 out of 50. If I can mark it 60 out of 50, I would. I do love these little Royal Alloys, so they just do what you want. And it just makes you feel so retro. Once you step onto one of these, the smile on the face. Now obviously I'm not a scooter lover, never have been, but I do enjoy riding these, and you know, I tend to be very unbiased in my opinions. I say what I see, but at the end of the day it's a scooter. But it is just so nice to actually get out on these, and every time I take a Royal Alloy out, it's a big beaming smile on my face, because it just, people just stop to look. What is it? It does look very similar to obviously brands of an older make, and people look to see, oh god, is that a new one? Yes. So it is a bit of an eye magnet, and if you happen to be into your 60s stuff, then you know, good on you. One of these is going to tick every box for you. So we're going to head back to the garage now. As always, we'd love to hear your comments on the Royal Alloys below, which is what I do like. A lot of my subscribers have been commenting. Obviously we took the my bike out the other day, and thank you for the comments on that. Yes, I am keeping it. So I'd love to see the comments. You can put them in the section below. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up. If not, 2 thumbs down. But absolutely beautiful. As always, if you haven't subscribed, hit the like and subscribe button. Give us a follow. If you haven't obviously hit that notifications bell, hit that. That will tell you when the next video is coming up on the notifications. And you can see we normally do about 2 or 3 videos a week at the moment. We're absolutely knocking these bikes out left, right and centre. I've got a final road test coming up on the Triumph Sprint as well that I did. We sold that yesterday, so I should be doing that ride test on the Triumph Sprint. Loved riding that the first time. As always, if you do want to see any of the bikes that we have, easiest way to find them is down here, right hand side, somewhere down here. EclipseMotorcyclesMK.co.uk, and the telephone number is underneath, 01908 643 603. Call and speak to the bike sales team. And currently got about 41 bikes in stock at the moment. I've got another 16 coming from Lex Moto. If you didn't see the new LXR out yesterday, we've got one coming to us, and I shall be doing the ride test of one of those. Try and get the first video up and ride test on the LXR. Full walk round on that, up close and personal as well. As always, if you get lost, easiest way to find everything is off my website, which is revbomb.co.uk. Once again, link is down in the bottom right hand side. All the details are down there. All about me. Go to the social media page. Oh, go for the indicator. It's the only thing, obviously the indicators are below. Indicators, then horn, then main beam. They're not the standard way round. They take a bit of getting used to. But pop to the Red Bomb page, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. There's a link to the garage. There's a link to our bike mover as well. Loads of links in there. Just click the links. It's all the details for Eclipse are on there as well. Time now to head back to the garage, and as always, the obligatory cup of coffee and a cigarette before we start for the day and get all the bikes out. If you are out this week, and I was out on Sunday and there was a lot of bikes all out, everybody found the sunshine, let's get out on the bike. So if you are out this week, you're working, be well. If you're out riding, guys, ride safely. And a big shout to all my guys in the States that are all out on their baggers and their Harleys and their Indians. So all of those are down the bottom. in the people that I follow. Check all those guys out. There are loads there, and they're all doing videos at the moment, so check them out. But until the next time, and we are almost back at the garage. Whatever you're doing, be well, ride safe, and from RB, as always, it's a big goodbye from me.